Hi there. What's holding you back from playing at your next level? It's interesting because we're going through the next level masterclass, and today is the second of 5 sessions really focused on helping you play at your next level. And it's not lost on me that in our conversations, we've been really focusing on what your current level is right now. The way I look at it is that we have a GPS. And if you ever want to get from one destination to the next, you not only need to know where you're heading and what the path is, but in order to establish that path, you need to know where you are right now. And one of the things here, I'll let you in on a little secret of what I found around the next level, that it's often not something that's ahead of us or something that we need to create externally to us, but it's really just a return back to who we are and allowing more of that to come and play. Got a chance to see that in the first session that we had here, and we're just going to continue to dive in and explore from there. So what's holding you back? What are your fears when it comes to playing at your next level? Today, we're going to go ahead and explore that with whoever wants to play, so you can see in real time how we can actually go and actively move through that. But the focus here isn't on the fear. The focus is on what the fear might be guiding us to. It's also on what our purpose is, and reconnecting with how we can not push away, but actually dance with and embrace and feel oh so good with the different doubts, fears, and roadblocks that come up in our way, as they too can be tools and guiding agents on our journey to the next level. So I'm going to go ahead here and we're going to start playing. We have 3 amazing people who have joined us for today's masterclass. And I just wanted to spend some time. I know that I've been speaking outwards to anyone watching. And now at this point here, the only 4 people in the world are us 4 right here. All right. I wanted to say it is a great, I can feel the smiles on me. I can feel it all in here. It is a great pleasure to be able to serve you all today. What I love to do is really give you all a chance to play, but bring you all each into this room. And with that there, what I'd like to do is start off with a question for each of you. I'm noticing here that I actually have an earpod from earlier today. I was listening to the song. I do a morning routine. It's my morning now. And my morning routine involves me really getting into discomfort and breathing and reconnecting with my body. And then at the end of this, today I felt really inspired. It's been a while since I last did it. I felt really inspired to listen to the song "This Is Me." And it says in there, yes. So one of the main parts of the chorus is, "I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me." So why don't we use that as we come into this room here today? You know, if you know me, like we like to just get into the work. So if we can really quickly, I'd like to go around here. I'll start with Georgina, then we'll go to David, then we'll go to Elisa, right? If you can introduce yourself. And then why don't you go ahead and share one thing you might be apologizing for around your current and or next level. I'm going to take some time to do that myself first, Georgina. Let me bring myself into the room and go from there, because I want to make sure it's a powerful enough question for you all. You 3 are really powerful people, and B, I need to play myself. Hi, my name is Nemo Ashong. I am the founder of Enjoyment, the champion of Outliers, Pioneers, and Mavericks everywhere, and the leader of the World Joy Movement. And one thing that I've been apologizing for in my own life here I've been apologizing for not being understood. And that is something that I have recently basically hit a hard wall on, about how present it is for me to feel the need to be understood. It's the reason why I spend a lot of time explaining things. It's the reason why I get frustrated in my relationship with my wife, because I'm like, you are the one person on this entire earth, so much pressure, so much pressure. And I apologize for that, because what I've been doing is moving more and more into a cocoon and trying to figure it out, so I can figure out what do people need to hear? What do they need to hear? How do I need to be so that they can actually understand me? And I've been taking it on as though it's a bad thing. And perhaps what I'm starting to find out here, especially in relation to this one in particular, perhaps it's because they don't understand me that makes this so powerful. Perhaps I'm not the person to be understood. I'm out, like, it's, as I go through this more and more, what I'm finding for is I'm tired of apologizing. Instead, let me go ahead and show you how other people are moving forward. Let me just work with you. Let me give you this experience. Let's just get you what you want. So that's one place that I've been apologizing for. It's really around being heard right now, but also being seen. And I have to make that real for me, because in this moment, that is probably the most true thing here. So, Georgina, why don't we bring you into this room here? We'll go all around here. Everyone gets a chance to play a bit here. Let us know about you. You can share why you're here if that feels good for you. But I would really get into, what are you apologizing for right now at your current and or next level?
Firstly, I apologize for being quite tired. So if I don't make sense, it's early here. Okay, my name is George. I live here in Singapore, and I am a coach with a background in sales and marketing management, and I'm embarking on a new adventure. There's not an easy answer to this question, because generally I'm pretty self-centered and grounded, and don't apologize for anything. But if there is one thing in life that I do find myself apologizing for, that is anger. I have quite a high threshold, but then I can go into Hulk mode really, really quickly. And I've been identifying what the triggers are, and 99.9% of the time they involve my children. So yes, on one hand, I apologize for being human, and I recognize it is a human trait. You obviously haven't met my children, but yeah, pretty intense. But in terms of me and a wider scope of what I generally apologize for, it's hard for me to pin that down. It's not really my mindset. I'm quite forward facing or outward facing. One thing in my life that I feel apologetic for at this very moment, which is situational, is not bringing in enough money. And so I've got a lot of fear clouding my head at the moment. A lot of inputs and a lot of bees swarming around, and a lot of fear and discomfort. So this session comes in good time.
Thank you, Georgina. Thank you, George, for just arriving here with everything. And I get you on the anger part. It's something that I'm learning how can I bring that up? How can that have its own space there?
You don't want to bring that up.
But
the weak bit,
you wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Yeah. Like no, it's so interesting because you bring up Hulk mode, and I spent a lot of time thinking about that. I really love how he's like, I'm always angry. I'm like, you can do that? You can you can seem cool and always be angry. And it's something that honestly I've been thinking about a lot. I'm like, there might be times where in the movement that I lead and the change that is happening, the transformations that I have out there, can I channel that in a productive out here? So thank you for bringing that into today's conversation here, and thank you for just being real here and letting us set up the stage here. Yeah, as we go through here, keep in mind things that might be bringing in. Well, I'll just leave it at that. Thank you very much, Georgina. Thank you for bringing yourself into the room. David, why don't you bring us here? Let us know about you, perhaps why you're here today, and what is one thing that you might be apologizing for on your current or next level?
So I'm David Taylor Klaus. My company is DTK Coaching, and my work is reintroducing successful entrepreneurs to their families. I'm here today because I need this connection today. I've got enough empathy that I have to be conscious about whether I'm the antenna picking up the feelings and the swarming energy of the room and identifying it and passing it through me, or whether I'm the bowl and I'm then sitting and stewing in it. And it's the person we're here at the hospital for is my eldest child's fiance, and my eldest child is just a small version of me. And watching Bex become the bull today and get overwhelmed by the energy, I will tell you, sitting in an emergency room at a hospital for 6 hours, oh my God, anybody could become a bull. So it's been, this is the perfect place for me to be right now. And what I apologize for. What comes up is, it's probably a very long list. I think the things at the top of the list are having an impact. It's like pulling eye teeth. Any of these exercises about, what do you do, what's your impact, think of some of your client successes and describe them. And I'm like, my form of apologizing is hiding. And for the book that I'm working on, I've had to collect client impact stories, and watching the person that I'm working with this book on, watching her reaction to reading these stories is, just shocking. And it's a different reflection, because I can look at it and go, yeah, but they did all the work. I'm a coach, they did the work, which is still true. And I know how powerful the outcomes are of the coaching that I give. And yet I shrink away from it. I think there's one thing, to tie this to the bigger conversation. I imagine this is having a lot of impact on my playing at this level instead of a next level. So that's what's current. I missed anything there, Nemo? Did I get the question?
No, you haven't missed anything at all. My invitation to you is because you are making a choice here, right? So if it's part of this is to empty out your bowl to allow more room to be more antenna, and to let it go through. Along those lines, to also be a beacon as well. I use that a lot here, with the idea of like, can you be something such that so that others can come out and support you. So thank you for being a beacon for that. And then I'm gonna let's just play here for today. Here, David, throughout here, if there's any place where you do feel yourself, and if you do feel yourself hiding, just feel free to just call that out in any given moment. And I actually want to get to know what hiding looks like for you, David, because I see like in the world you look as though you're presenting, right? And so as a friend and colleague, I really want to get to know what does that look like for you, just so I can be with you on that. All right.
Good. Yeah. Good timing for these next couple of days, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you're gonna get to see that.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. So Lisa, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
For today, we love to get to know you. Bring yourself into the room. Share a little bit about you, about why you're here, and what you be apologizing for in your current or next level.
Okay. My name's Elisa Manhadas, and I'm a marketer by day and a coach by night. And I I was really bored in my day job up until about September. And I August. Started a ton of projects to keep myself occupied and interested in life. And then work got really interesting and fun. And so now I have this very full plate of a lot of things. And I can't decide if I'm apologizing or not apologizing for not having a lot of capacity right now, because I've put so much. I don't really want to change it. I've had to move things around to accommodate, to prioritize in the moment, but I'm not planning on slowing down anytime soon. And so maybe I'm not apologizing for that. Yeah, but I'm also like, it's like a good thing, and I'm energized, but I'm at the same time I'm dying because it's so much.
Awesome. And I hear you there. I hear you there. Let me check in with you here, because if that's not what you're apologizing for, because that's what I hear you're not apologizing for. It feels like you're bringing it in your presence.
Yeah, I'm bringing it in, but I guess I'm apologizing it. I'm apologizing to like the people in my life that matter, and putting them maybe second, making them second priority to all my other things. So maybe that's what I'm apologizing for. And right now everybody's understanding, but I don't know how long that's going to last.
I hear you on that. It makes me think about when I first started doing this work here, where it's just like all of a sudden weekends gone, places gone. There was just something else that was just clearly the new number one. I actually had a conversation, one of what I don't want you to know about me. This is sometimes it comes up, and I think of thoughts that I don't want to be in the mix. And I'm like, well, Nemo, I got to play if I'm really going to be here. This might be part of my next level. I like there's something about that I feel viscerally inside. And what came to mind was just this memory of me and my wife talking in New York around the amount that I was working, and the amount that I was playing, and the number of people that I was seeing as I was building up, like, this is the actuarial business, and just how involved I was in everything. And she said to me, and it kind of got, no, it doesn't kind of, I know it's like my number one compass right now. She's like, I just need to know that, like, I need to at least feel like I'm your number one, even if all these other things are going on. And when you bring that up there, it really sits with me, where it's like getting aligned with something that you're passionate about, getting aligned with something that you're purposeful about, and then the impacts that it might have on the relationships that you have, the people that you care about the most, as you are making this move, as you're finding this here. Who else, has anyone else ever experienced that, like that the tension perhaps between saying like actually moving forward toward what you want and the relationships that you currently have? Yeah. So I get you there. And I appreciate you bringing that into the room here. Right. So we got to play. Here. I see all of you wonderful people, and I really do feel each of you. Thank you for allowing that to come in here and giving us a chance to connect, not on the surface level, but on what's real for us. Right? Today, the topic of today was around like what hidden fears, what hidden traps do you have that are keeping you at your current level. Right? And I'd like each of you to spend a second right now thinking about what that trap might be. It might have shown up right now in the apologies. It might be something that you're already aware of altogether. Okay. Think about that.
Ask that in a different way, Nemo.
Yeah, I'm not going to this time, right? I'm not going to this time. Just think about if there's anything that any fear, anything that you feel is trapped, keeping you at your current level. All right. Feel free to write it down. Okay. And then I'm going to invite you here to put that thing to the side. So to allow that to have its space within you, but to not be the thing that is present for you throughout this conversation. And I do that intentionally here because what I have found is that when I specifically get into the game, I'm actually a really good problem solver. It's in my zone of excellence. But the unique thing that we have coming here together in this group here is not just to solve the problems, but to really create the possibilities that we want. to really use this time to orient ourselves back to what our true missions are, back to what our true purposes are, such that these problems become either insignificant or irrelevant. And I want to make sure that we're giving ourselves that space and that opportunity to do it. So if we can just go out and take a deep breath in together, in through the nose and then out through the mouth. And allow ourselves to just be within the space of possibility here, knowing that because we've presenced what it is that might be there, we'll find the solution as we continue looking into what we're looking to create. All right. DTK, let me check in with you really quickly. I've had an energetic call to just like spend some time with you, my friend. Today may not be the best day given everything that's going on, but I do want to. So I want to check in with you here and honor that call, for connection, honor that call of serving you, and I also want to I want to make sure this is the question I want to ask you right now. Here it is. What do you need right now?
Yeah, I need to. I know that whatever's going on in there is going to get taken care of, and if they need me, they'll call me. So I just need to be here.
Yeah.
Like I need to be fully in.
Okay.
My wife and I have extensive experience in dealing with healthcare crises. So I got one in there. She's in there. I'm out here. I'm good.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Or working on being good. Let's say I'm working on good. Yeah.
I got you there.
But thank you for asking.
Absolutely. Are you in a place then? Would you like to play?
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. So
cautious.
Yeah,
hesitation,
cautious. Yes.
I'm in.
I have I was in an a cappella group and they
Yes.
one song they said cautiously optimistic. Right? Can we play that?
Exactly. Only
right,
mildly freaked out. Yeah, let's go.
Awesome. Great. And Alicia, Georgina, and anyone else that's watching, while we're going through this here, I'm going to explore some things with you, David, that I just want to spend some time with you. That's really it here. And as we're going through this here, I invite everyone to just to do one of two things. A, allow yourself to be coached, allow yourself to go through this process as well, right? See some of the questions that I'm asking, right? And look at them from the standpoints of whether or not you are going to apply and ask anyone else those questions. It might just be some different sets of questions that you can ask yourself, right? And then also, as we go through, try and answer some of these as we go through. What are your answers as well? And I'll check in with you along the way, so we can all go on this journey together, serving in that way. Awesome. So DTK, firstly, I wanted to start off here. You're writing a book. Share a little bit more about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Thank you. So part of my dealing with visibility, I'll give you the short version of the full story. So back in 2017, I sat down with my marketing guru and we went through and built a fully fleshed out marketing plan around increasing visibility. We had the weekly broadcasts planned out. We had it all named and branded. It would cascade into a book about the year of broadcasts and live events and a TED Talk and podcasts and then I took that idea and sat on it. And so part of what I do as a mentor coach is I help deliver coaching for CTI's training. I'm one of the assistants in the room. And it was the final weekend of training, and this monster of a new coach during a practice coaching gave me a wicked challenge. And next thing I know, I'm texting my marketing person in the middle of the coaching saying, we launch on Groundhog Day, in 3 weeks. So Groundhog Day 2018, I started doing Mindset Mondays. Every Monday morning, I do a live broadcast on Facebook. And so I have anywhere from 5 to 50 people seeing it live and up to 1,000 people will view an episode over the next couple of weeks. And I kind of love doing it. So I just did episode 87 this morning. It didn't stop after a year. And the book is Mindset Mondays, 52 Ways to Rewire Your Thinking. We've built a framework sort of a self-coaching framework for folks to use to take each of the 52 chapters is based on one of the episodes of the broadcast. And we have a rewire section at the end of each chapter giving people stuff to walk through to take them through taking the learning and making it real in their world. So I am disgusted by the fact that only 41% of people who buy a book read past chapter 1. I am determined to put a book out there designed so people will do something more than chapter 1. So it seems to be a personal mission. And living with a new author is a nightmare. And when you're the new author, living with yourself is hard enough. Elaine has got, my book is due at the publisher in 10 days. And for the initial legal review, Elaine's third book is due at her publisher in 3 weeks. And so we're empty nest, and now we're giving birth to 2 books, which is, I don't recommend it. So yes, that's what my world is like right now.
Awesome.
And Nemo's had sort of a ringside seat to seeing my energetic highs and lows in the last couple of weeks. So
yeah. I haven't. It's funny. Like I could see as we're here at DTK, I'm making a commitment to myself. I'm like, I'm going to read 2 chapters. If I'm going to I am going to read 2 chapters. I will get past chapter 1. I will do the rewiring and so on and so forth. Right. I will read 2 chapters. Awesome. So thank you for that. I was like, I want to make sure we're a bit about the book there. And now we're going to let that go too. Right. Because what I got about all that is like, that's your current level. You have the plan, you have the things, you know what you're doing, your steps are happening, 10 days, so on and so forth. Right. I am really, really curious, David, as to like, I'm curious about what your purpose is, and not the purpose in this current here, but like when we talk, I know that you're a man of heart, and I know that your actual vision is huge. It's quite massive, and the impact that you want to make. You brought up the word impact in particular, like that impact that you want to make is massive as well. So tell me a little bit more and help me get connected with that part of your vision.
Yeah, so my purpose as a human here in this pass through life, I think the purpose I've tapped into extends past this run, right? This lifetime. I am that resonant energy that unearths and unleashes the power of the heart. That's what I do. And it shows up in a lot of different ways. It shows up in my parenting and my partnering, yes. It shows up in my coaching, and it shows up in the way I lead. And what's shifted in my practice is that focus towards the impact billionaire segment. And that's where, growing up in sort of an achievement elite environment, I've got this model of I'm supposed to be the king, not the kingmaker. And what I've realized over the last several years working with these impact billionaires, the kingmaker is the place of power. And that's the place of impact cascade, the ability to amplify what those around me who have purpose and are driven towards that impacting 1 billion lives. Working with those folks and amplifying what they're doing is an incredibly powerful place to be. And I'm constantly fighting with the king versus kingmaker piece. And I think that shows up a little bit in, how out there do I want to be? How much do I want to put myself out there, be seen? I fold in that we're letting the fear piece go. Okay, so
feel free to bring in everything that's present for you around that. That's fine. I'm like, if it's present,
yeah,
that's fine.
The fear piece pokes in because I know rationally that other people's shit is other people's shit. It's all theirs. But part of my fear of the visibility is being judged in a negative way. Judge me in a positive way all day long. I'm fine. But when I was part of the Vistage group for, 8 years before I sold my company, they were part of my world as I worked to sell my technology company. And I walk into the meeting the week after I sold the company, and now I'm coaching full time, right? I walk in and I'm terrified that these people who have known me and gone through this whole process with me are all of a sudden going to see me as being frivolous because I'm just a coach, right? No longer own a technology company. So I have that fear keeps sneaking in, and it taints the work that I'm doing. And I think that's what's knocking me into this level.
Okay. When you say that, like, boy, do I get you there. The frivolousness, my word is woo woo. Flaky came up in another conversation, right?
And Georgie and I are in the same place. People have only begun to see my woo woo.
Yeah.
Like, just, they have no idea.
They have no idea. So, well,
No
David,
fucking idea.
Your woo woo.
Yeah, let's
More
go,
like,
lady.
woo-hoo.
Let's go.
so let's play with that here. Let's play here, like because even with that, like, I just saw you like shush yourself there, right? And we started out this whole thing around the apologies here,
Yeah.
right? So like, so let's just call that out, right? And just presence that as it is, right? King versus kingmaker. I've heard you say that a number of times. Impact billionaire. That sounds really cool, you know. That and I find myself curious around that. And the fear of visibility, being judged in a negative way, being judged as a frivolous. Is the frivolity? Is that the word? Is the frivolity? Frivolity, yes. Let me just check in with you. Does it feel frivolous to be a kingmaker? Does it feel frivolous to be an impact billionaire? Is that like, I just want to just check in and see, like, is that fear at play when it comes to these things?
This is generations of ingrown guilt, right? It was a choice of doctor, lawyer, disgrace. That's what the opportunities were, right? And you know, you've heard Hayden joke about doctor, lawyer, engineer, disgrace. We didn't even have engineer, right? So there is that piece of it. So yes, you know, that lens, that little harpy on my shoulder is screaming, yes, it's frivolous, right? But I know that's the real work, right?
Yeah. It's really interesting because as you were saying this here, like, what was coming to me is like, yeah, it is frivolous. And what was also coming to my mind was the idea of, like, kudos to you, DTK, for creating a life where you've sold businesses, you've come back, you've mentor coach, you've been a part of multiple groups there, you've raised multiple children, you've had a loving family and a loving relationship with your wife, you've gone beyond, and now you're birthing 2 books between the 2 of you in the next month here, right? And you still have time for this frivolity to go out and impact and work with impact billionaires. I want to just say kudos to you on this here, because, like, it might seem frivolous to all of us here, and so we've been able to downplay it and push it off, because it's like, this isn't the core work, this isn't the thing that's important. And I'm appreciative in this moment here that you've built a life that allows you to take care of this stuff here, the stuff that most people don't even get a chance to get into because it seems frivolous to them. It's always the icing on the cake. I'm proud of you, and I'm honored by you being able to be in a place where you actually get a chance to do the frivolous stuff.
Thank you,
Can I
Neema.
ask a question?
Yeah, Georgie. Well, let me real quick, George. I apologize. DTK, George had something that's come up. Is that something that's good with you?
I'm in.
Yeah. You mentioned with Impact Billionaire, it's impacting 1 billion people as opposed to earning $1 billion. Did I hear correctly?
Absolutely.
Wow, and you're actually doing that through other people and through their heart.
It's these are folk who, whether they've made their money or don't care about money or have such a good relationship with sufficiency and abundance that it always seems to be there, what drives them is touching 1 billion lives. And those are amazing human beings to get to serve.
So if every person that you touches 1 billion lives, what's frivolous about that? That is incredible.
Yeah.
that is really clever and incredible, and yeah, I admire that so much.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank
and
you
that's
for
the
that.
way it feels. That's all here.
So thank you for that, George. And I think that I think this is the place where I'm asking if that fear is still present, and I want to call out that. I'm going to ask you here, DTK. I have an ask of you. My ask is to lean more into that frivolity, right? The questions that come to my mind is what's the most frivolous thing that you can do, or that comes to mind when it comes to being an impact billionaire, or to bringing out your mission? Or what's the most frivolous of it all?
So I want to answer that with a different tack. May I?
Please.
So I don't know how good the camera is. Can you see what that says?
I think it says alchemy. Does anyone else see alchemy? All right. Yes.
It is. And this is something that came out of Source Team in April.
Yeah.
Haven't taken it off. I think some of what I do, and this is great in concert with the high flame coaching that we've been talking about with Rich, is take absolutely ordinary, magnificent human beings and combine them in a way and apply high flame, and absolute magic comes out. And so, yeah, that's my approach to coaching, to leadership. When I let the fear, no, I never let the fear go. I do not let the fear go. You asked if it was present, if it will always be there. Fuck yeah, it's always going to be there. And I think there's a way to use it, right? Instead of having it be that wet blanket that keeps me down, it's a way to use that energy to plow forward. It's like face the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think letting it go is not it. It's, there's energy in it. I don't want to waste it.
Yeah, yeah. And I can see that you're thinking about this.
I just went in my head.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's totally fine. I know I pulled you out of that. And I did it intentionally here. I'm gonna invite you to just be even lighter around it all, right? It's gone from it doesn't need to be a deep grab, right? like a simple hug, a simple whisper in the ear, a true embrace of it. Right? So I'm going to ask you this question here because I'm finding myself curious. I'm finding myself deeply curious, and the elements that I'm deeply curious around. I'm trying to see. I think in my mind, I'm trying to see what is your next level, and I'm getting a sense of what your current level is. I'm also trying to see if you will stand in what that next level is. I am really curious to see if that will happen, or if we'll go around it. You said king versus kingmaker, and you talked about having king qualities yourself. The question that comes to mind here, and let me know if you need a minute first. If you need a minute, then I'll go on and come back. Unapologetic, you say. Aha, nice. The question that
that's how the next level looks.
Okay, all right. It's very interesting that we started out here around the apologies.
Yeah, well, that's no coincidence.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
So then,
yeah, so unapologetic.
Unapologetic. So let me ask you this here, because king versus kingmaker, and I think this is what's going on in my mind. What's going on right here is it's the word versus in this year. In the way that you put it out, it's they are at oppositions. They are not in alignment. They are not working together. And I just there's something that feels
it doesn't need to be a versus.
Yeah.
No. I think you're spot on. No, I've made it up that it's either or, and that's not true. It doesn't have to be an either or. They're at a perfect and relationship.
So going along with this here, I am the question that came in my mind as this was going, and I'm as you're thinking through this, I'm actually going to take you off the hot seat right now. All right, I'm going to give you some time to think about this one here and let that come in. I'd like to check in with you before we end here. The question in my mind is like what is your style? What's your unapologetic style? What's your unapologetic frivolous style of king making? Because I think there are a lot of people out there who make kings. And I just got this sense that there's like a way to go about making kings in your mind, you know? And I would really, really be interested in knowing, like, if DTK was just unleashed and the power of his heart was just completely unearthed, and he was unapologetic, and he was the most frivolous person out there to any person who wasn't an impact billionaire. Anyone else would be like, oh gosh, oh, of course, it's just who has the time for that? Like, how frivolous of him to do that. And to the impact billionaires are like, thank goodness there's someone else out here who can help me take care of the things that most other people can't do. Thank goodness this guy exists. What is your unique and unapologetic version of king making? And play with that along with what if it wasn't versus? It could be and. There are a lot of other words. Through, with, of. There's so many things you can play with, but like, what if the word wasn't versus? And spend some time with that for a bit. And then we'll come in and we'll check in with you before we leave. All right, David, thank you for playing.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks for diving in with me.
Yeah. So, Elisa, really quickly, I'd like to check in with both you, Elisa, and George here. Like, what is from being a part of this here? What's one insight that's come for your own personal journey based on this conversation? I'll just really quickly. I'm not interested in any insights you have for DTK. I will stop you if that comes out. You don't even need to give the context behind why it happened. If you'd like to, feel free, but you don't need to. I'm really curious for you because I'm coaching all of you at the same time. What has been your insight here? And the answer could be, I've had no insight, and that's still insightful. That's like, I'm good with it. It's not like it's not a forced insight moment here, but I do want to check in with you. So Lisa, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Georgie. If you need a second, feel free to take it.
I was not in myself at all the entire time, so I don't have any insights for me.
All right. Awesome. And just playing with, I want to acknowledge you with that there, because I know that there's that part of what started out here in the apologies part was, really being in yourself, focusing on you right now, and so it's interesting that during this you chose to play externally on that part. Thank you. George, how about you? What's been your greatest insight? And it doesn't need to be just from this part of the conversation. It just be like, since we came on the call, what's been your greatest insight right now, or what's working on you?
I was pretty glued to what DTK was saying, but I was aware of what was arising in myself. So the first thing when we all went around and introduced ourselves and our niche, you guys have very powerful niches, very, very select. And when you said it, I just went, oh God, what a wonderful space to play. How impactful that is, and how amazing that would be to find something like that. Because setting off, what is going through me, especially this week, which is quite uncharacteristic, is a lot of doubt and a lot of fear. But then what I've seen in the insight is it doesn't matter how powerful you are or how good or how elevated or experienced you are, you're still human and you still feel doubt. It's an ongoing journey. So don't be halted by the stage that you're at. Just embrace that humanity and that connection, and how appreciative I am to be part of this. Really. Yeah, that's the insights.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much, George. Yeah, part of me is feeling called to play with that. And I also want to let that continue to brew out a little bit further. So let me go in and check in with Elisa. Elisa, would you like to play?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I almost feel like it should be like theme music going on. Din and din. Welcome back. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
All right. If there was let me see here. We have about 10 minutes, so I don't want to like. I want to just go straight to the heart of it, right? If there was one thing that you can leave this conversation with, no, that's not the way to go. What I want to do here is just soften up a little bit. Lisa, what do you need in this conversation to show up more fully as you in this the conversation here and what comes out afterwards?
What I need, I know what I need on a big level.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I guess now I have my insights now they're coming. And I think on a big level, I would like a grander vision for my life.
Okay, awesome. And we're going to spend in our next conversation a lot of time on vision. We're going to do, there's a couple different things I have played there, so we're going to be really, really playing that out right there.
Okay, I'll be ready.
Yep. You're ready. That's I'm not worried about that. You want a grander vision. Can you please tell us right now, if you don't mind, with all of us that are here, can you please take us through the grand vision as it exists in this current moment?
Today, the vision looks like a spider that is me, and I'm in the middle, and I have all my things that I'm passionate about today, which is family, business, creativity, friendships, and work as a subject. There's probably other things, but those are the big things. And then I have ideas, visions, projects for all those separately, like podcast, coaching. And so those are, but I feel when I explain it and when I think about myself, some of those things can have huge impact. Women in leadership, huge, but today they don't. Today they've just gotten started. They're in brainstorming mode. They're in content creation mode. And so when I say a spider and I go like this, I actually think of it as a tiny little spider, and not a big spider. So I think, how can I make this spider bigger? But nothing started yet, so that's where I'm at.
Got you. And at the same time, that last sentence doesn't feel true based on what you've just said here. It has nothing really started.
What? I think it was true like 30 seconds ago, and then like as I said it wasn't anymore.
Awesome. And let me like, you have multiple projects going on right now, right? Podcast, coaching, women in leadership. Like these things that you're talking about they're not necessarily things that you're like, I would like to go out and go and do. You have projects in motion with them currently, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's what I'm pointing out to, where it's just like nothing started yet. I get the little spider, feeling like a tiny spider. But I don't see like an empty spider web. Like there, like it is there.
Yeah, everything is in motion. That's why I'm so busy.
Yeah, everything's in motion. So let me ask you here: why do you feel you need a grander vision beyond this here? You're sitting in the middle as a spider. Why do you feel the need for a grander vision? And the reason I'm asking this here is really to this question: what would having a grander vision give you that you don't already have?
What would having a grander vision? I think, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's an issue anymore. Like, I actually, the more I think about it, like having a grander vision, it's there. A lot of it is there. I just haven't seen it play out yet, and I'm very impatient. And so I feel like since I'm in like a cocoon phase, like I'm like, why am I not a butterfly flying around and doing all this stuff? But like I'm on my way, and it's really hard to be okay with being on my way.
Yeah. Lisa, as you say that, I just get you there. Like I get you in so many different ways there. And I think, and that was the question in my mind. I'm like, you have all these things going on right now. A grander vision would even make would make the bigger spider even bigger and make you even smaller with where you are right now. And what I get the sense of is that this is not about, for you playing at your next level, it's not a future thing. It's like it's in the present for you. And playing in the areas of, yeah. All right. And so now I need to test out a couple things here, because what's going on in my mind is I'm wondering if you've already jumped into your next level and you're at the first steps of your next level. And there's like, now we're just doing the things that are associated, like we're in alignment with what that level is, and we're doing the things that are associated with that level, and we can accelerate that. It doesn't need to take 5 years until you get, like, we can do the things to accelerate that so that you can be back at the place where you're like, okay,
now what?
Now what, right? And the fun part about this, you're in the what right now. You're in the what right now. And I still like to play the next level game. And this might be for a lot of you out there might be in the what right now. I still like to play the next level game because it keeps us oriented toward like, okay, I'm doing these things, but why? I'm doing these things, but is it actually leading up to anything? I'm doing the podcast. I have these different projects. I'm being pulled in all these different directions. And am I actually like building at least like one line that's going in a certain place, or so on and so forth, right? So I get that as well. Right. But I feel like what I'm getting from you is like, you're in the what right now, you know, and I want to honor that. I want to honor that for what it is in this place here. And we'll talk more about that, because I think like sometimes being in the what involves like playing around and seeing what comes out of it right now. I think like you're a little bit in that shaking spot there. But what really is coming through to me here as we start to wrap up this conversation here is really around what you were apologizing for in the very beginning, the capacity area. Because what I'm getting here is like, I'm wondering if you have enough silk or yarn or like the energy to go out and actually tie all these disparate things that look like in the world, they look like they're like boop, boop, bop, beep, bop, all in all these areas out there, but you are the connecting thread. And like, and literally like, when I think about a spider web, it's like these circles that are iterating out with like these strong pillars that are out there. Right. So when you say it, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a really strong vision. That seems like a really strong container to be able to keep you. You have these ultimate pillars, and each time you go around, you're strengthening it at another level, strengthening at another level, strengthening at another level. So let me just check in with you. This like,
I have an insight.
Yeah, please.
Can I hear it?
Please do.
Like, that is my next level. Because I can theoretically see how everything is connected and probably explain it in some ways. But if I could get to the place where it's a tight web and it's fleshed out, that is the next level. I know I'm close, but that's the next place for me personally. The projects aren't it.
Yeah.
And that's been my struggle. Like, the projects aren't it, but like the me connecting is it. And that's not quite there yet.
Boom. You just said it. The you connecting is it. Like, you are the connecting piece here. And so the place that I would invite you to play with between now and the next time we talk here is to see, where are you leaving you out of it? Are you working on projects that are other people's visions? Are you working on like, when you enter those projects, are you bringing your vision, your purpose, your thing to the mix there? Are you showing up with like 10, 11, 12, level 10, 11, 12 that is you, you know? And allowing that through, because I get you on that. The part of it with you is that I feel like you're a super creator, a super producer, someone that can be in a whole lot of different arenas, have a ton of different projects, and have them all go out. The thing about it is, in my mind, it's almost like when someone sees a project of yours, will they be able to go and say like, oh, that was an Elisa right there? You know, like Elisa was here in some way, shape, or form, right?
Yeah, like is my stamp on all of those things.
Yeah. And because there are times, and we'll play next week with like really visioning out there and seeing some of the things there. One of the big things about playing at the next level is that it isn't this future thing. If you're always trying to play out at the next level as if it's out in the future, you'll never reach it. Instead, we have to like be coming from that place right now. It's a rich living way of rich living, looking at the world. And it's also, when I look at community and all that, it's like modeling what we want now. And so for me, it's like, yeah, it makes sense that you would look at yourself as a tiny spider right now, because like your stamp isn't out there yet.
Yeah.
So let's go with that there. And the other part of it too is the capacity part, right? So keep an eye out on this here, and it's more than we can get into in this conversation, but keep an eye out around the capacity part. And it looks like it's not burnout for yourself. It looks like burnout in your relationships. So my
not yet.
Yeah. So my thing is, as you're doing this here, each week, find at least one relationship that you can make stronger as a result of you being the spider. Right? Think about it from like the tensile strength of the web, and how you can interweave that all the way through. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for like, I feel all this myself. I'm like, oh, this is really triggering work, because this is, these are a lot of the things that, you know, as I continue to play myself on different levels, they come up for me. So let's meet again next week. We'll be able to dive in a lot further there, but I am looking forward to seeing more of that Elisa stamp. And when you come into that conversation, bring that stamp. You know, like this is it. It's filtering and making sure that, because eventually you won't have to question it. Eventually it will emerge. And what I don't want to do is like manufacture your stamp. That's like we'll talk about this. I'm like, when you come to me and say, Nemo, this is the thing, like, I don't know why I'm not out there like this. This is what I want. Then I'm going to turn that on and just light it up on fire and all that, you know, we'll call it a swarm of spiders, whatever we need. But like, what I don't want to do is to artificially manufacture it, because then I think you're going to come back to this at some point and realize that your stamp hasn't been on any of those things. All right. Awesome. So I'm gonna spend some time here just closing out this conversation. I'm gonna talk to the camera and then say goodbye to all of you. Playing the next level is not an easy game. It is a game that shows up in so many different ways of really impacting you and triggering on the elements of you that can be pretty vulnerable and pretty tender. I myself going through this year, and I'm like, whoa, what have I signed up for? And it's the reason why I'm doing this. I am a little bit afraid, intimidated, and in awe of each and every one of you that are on this conversation. And for any of you that are watching this here, I know that you are a movement leader. I know that you make impact in the world, and you're a change leader. And I want to acknowledge you for that there, because it takes a lot to serve in this way. I want to thank you for that. As you go out this week, look to one area in your life where there has been some fear, and then see what you can tie it back to. Not tie it back to what is the fear, but tether it into and anchor it into what your purpose is and what's beyond where you are right now. I love to continue this conversation with you. Next week, the masterclass continues. We're really focusing. It's almost like, we're finally here. We're going to be talking about your next level. We'll be spending some time visioning. We'll be really actually sharing a lot here and getting a chance to explore and put some words to it here. And the reason we do this in a group setting is because it takes us not only out of our head, but it puts it out into the world immediately. It gives us a chance for that which we think is, I'll just say it, like crazy, or like no one would understand, or like frivolous, woo-woo, flaky, whatever it is, to be out there in the world as a concrete thing amongst people who actually can get it and can go beyond just understanding. They can help you refine it even more. To have a thought partner to help you understand what it is that you just viscerally understand. How wonderful would that be? Come and play with us next week. Go to nemoashong.com/NL register for the next level masterclass, and we'll just continue on. Have a great time. Thank you all that are here. Thank you for letting us play together. And thank you for showing up so vulnerably and openly throughout this. Here's to being more you each and every day. You are a gift to your world. Game on.